This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so hopefully everyone enjoyed their day off. Today is December 6th. And obviously, things, waking up this morning. I know we had an absolutely phenomenal day on Tuesday. And then, of course, we did have the day off yesterday for the funeral. And coming back today, it did not stop. And we talked about this. I mean, I wasn't going to have any expectations until we saw what we were going to wake up this morning. Now, one of the things that we are seeing, so first of all, let's talk about Apple. Apple 175 is where we saw those huge amount of prints. And one thing that we do know is even coming down towards that 175 level, the amount of selling that came into these things, it's just, I would expect more. And the one thing that I did see, probably my favorite show of hand this morning, is this 172 bid prints in Apple. You can see one of the things that we talk about is difficulty of trade all the time. And that 172, basically, having at right before 8 o'clock, that's something that I know I personally can't do. So having those prints show up is certainly, gives us a great show of hand to be looking at. Now, the only thing about that is the fact that it did jump up to pretty much, 173. So it moved up $1.25 on that pull up, but overall, certainly showing us that it wants to further itself down. And then we could see right here underneath that 172 getting, some decent selling underneath as well. So Apple's going to be number one on my list this morning. Let's talk about NVDA. So NVDA, we've went over probably a million times over the past few weeks. And not the past few weeks, probably about the past week and a half or so. And reason being is because, just because a stock pulls up does not mean that the prints are, the story of the prints are not going to be satisfied. When you have a stock that trades $9.67 on average, and we know that's a little bit lower considering the fact that average is taking into the fact that the stock was at 200 at a part of it, 150 to 200 is a huge difference. But NVDA underneath those 155 prints, and we know this thing has a huge range. So this morning, I haven't seen anything that great in it yet. You can see just not really any type of bigger prints, but overall, the overall move, I don't think there's any way in the world that this stock is going to end up holding that 150 level based off the amount of selling that we saw coming into it and based off of pretty much everything else that we've seen. I know we did an entire traders exchange when we first got those prints at 155. It was on a Tuesday, obviously. And based off of what we saw within there and below the 155, there was just no way. So that 150 level, I don't see it being able to hold, especially, looking at everything else out there. It's just, it looks like a murder scene. It's just unbelievable. So next one looking at this morning is Momo, M-O-M-O. So far, there's nothing really that great that came in. So we have a few prints that came in at the 28 on the 28 ask. But if we look back over at 8 o'clock, you can see right here, 28 had a huge amount of bid prints that came back in, and we never really pulled up as much as I would have expected. You can see right here at 8, it came up to about 850, 2850, excuse me, but just not as much as I would have liked to see. So overall, we certainly shows that, we have new selling there at that 28 level, and that's really all that we care about. It's just we're going to need to see more volume. As of right now, it's very sporadic, and you can see the orders are just pretty much non-existent, just not really much that's going on there whatsoever. So overall, definitely expecting it underneath 28, which it's already underneath 28, but based off of these prints that we're seeing, it looks like we're going to get more of a pull up, and this guy's, basically getting in there at that 28 level on the ask to ride up that pull up. And then everything else is pretty much, guys, is going to be our everyday stocks today. I mean, if you look at everything across the board, I mean, we take a look at BABA. Now, BABA has some ask prints that just came in at 153. Coming back down, earlier this morning, you can see there's really not too much of anything but buying on that side. So coming down, that pull down that we've seen from those prints at 153, I'm going to be expecting a pull up in BABA. SQ is another one. SQ, we were watching all the Tuesday, and you know what? This morning, if we take a look, you can see starting at 7 o'clock, I mean, there really hasn't been too much selling. We did just get some nice sell burst that came in just now. We did have 64, and most of the prints at the actual main levels are still selling. So a lot of these stocks are at, a big psychological level. So you have 60, that's going to be an SQ. That's a big number for it to break. You have 170 in Apple, which is a big number to break. You have 150 in NVDA, which is a big number to break. BABA, you have 150, which is another one that's a big number to break. So all of these over that, I mean, are basically giving us a good spot to look for a support, but based off the amount of selling that we saw the other day, I am expecting a pull-up still. Don't get me wrong, but Based off what we sell, a lot of these things are showing that there's just not going to be much of a chance of them being able to hold those. Let's take a quick look at our scanners. Let's see if anything else is going on out there. MU, please. Okay, MU's in the same exact boat as everything else. MU35 is going to be that big number to break as well. This morning, just not really anything too special that I've seen. I mean, if we look at the actual prints themselves, I mean, you have one print at 36 on the ask, but other than that, you are getting some pretty decent selling bursts that are coming in underneath that 36 level. So it's pretty much the exact same boat as every other everyday stock that we just went over. All right, so moving over to our scanners, there's not really much out there this morning. A lot's being taken up, obviously, about the everyday stocks. But TST, I am going to put this on our side list. It did get some buying as it was coming back up to that 225 level. But overall, I don't really expect too much out of it. It is something about the way that it's trading and the volume itself for such a cheap stock is just not even close to where I would like it. But we do have some buying that's back up above. So we're going to see if we can get that volume once the market opens to be able to break past that 225 level. VBIV, just not really much going on there whatsoever either. A bunch of ETFs and everything else, like I said, I mean, the volume is a little bit low, not really too much going on. So in general, there's going to be more pain in the market as all. I see a 100, the amount of selling that we saw on Tuesday and on Monday, I certainly see a lot more in the future coming back up. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not going to have a nice move at all. I mean, a nice pull up back because, you know, the market is always going to try to recover itself. But overall, I do not see these stocks being able to hold where they are right now. I see overall, based off the amount of selling, that will be continuing down. Facebook has moved a ton, and coming over to it, it's the same type of boat. I mean, you're talking about our everyday stocks are all in the same boat. But this morning, just not really any great prints. We'd have one print at 135.50, and you can see over here on the regular time and sales, we've got some smaller bursts that have been coming in at that 133.50 as well. And let's go over to the loser side. Let's see what we got going on. So we have CNAT, which I looked at before. I mean, it's just nothing really there. I mean, I'm gonna almost guarantee we're gonna end up really paying attention to our everyday stocks when once the market comes to that open, just because of the fact that we have the stories on them, we know exactly what's been happening, and there's nothing out there that I see that really has any type of better story that I want to pay attention to. But overall, Apple is my number one stock for the morning based off of the show of hand that we have at that 172 level, not Apple. Based off, like I said, based off all of this selling that we do have at that 172, especially earlier, and then coming back in again. All right, guys, anything else out there that I missed? Anything that looks good? Looks like we have most of our volume is coming into, once again, those name brand stocks. So that's where we're going to focus. We're going to, wherever the volume is, that's where we're going to stay. All right, guys, let's, how far of a pull-up do you expect for Apple? Right now, I'm not worried about pull-ups yet. Okay, I want to see what the market comes in, but based off those prints, at 172, 175 would be, a spot to start to look at. But I want to see what the market, because right now, remember, overnight, the bullying continued. So I need to see once the market opens. I'm not going to be worrying about pull-ups yet. But overall, certainly should be pulling up. But remember, the pull-ups in the beginning of the market are usually very quick. So Apple might get a huge move to that upside, and then boom, that trigger back down. So keep that in mind. God bless the man who's been in since 183. All right, guys, I will talk to everyone in the chat room, and happy trading.